review of Double October this year, and it is another Hgbd Build Divers Re-Rise kit this time, and it is a Gundam GP Rase-Two-Ten Ogre'S mobile suit. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't understand the name. I know that it came from the GP02A, but I don't get where the Rase-Two-Ten is. So there's a play on words that I'm missing, and I'm sure somebody will explain to me in the comments. Now, we didn't get to see a ton about this thing. We did get to see it in action at the end of the first series of Build Divers, and then it came back ever so briefly for Re-Rise with upgrades. Apparently, in between series is when he decided to do the upgrades from the Rase-Two to the Rase-Two-Ten. I have no idea. But anyway, some fantastic artwork here. So you've got his swords all nice and heated up there and a big old bazooka happening. And you're going, wait, why is this in Double October, Shoki? And it's because it's GN powered. That's right. So all the Re-Rise stuff like that. You got Bandai Spirit 2020. Hey, this can actually go in the class of 2020. Nice. You got the thingy there so you can watch the anime. Just go to YouTube. It is what it is. Bandai logo down there. And if you come to the bottom, you got actions. GN Ogre Sword Nishiki. That's interesting. And you got GN Ogre Sword Nishiki again. What? I know he's repeating himself. GN Revolver Bazooka. And then a Gundam GP Rase-Two-Ten, GP Rase-Two. So here's the funny part. So this is the later version. And then they show the difference for this one over here. But then you got down here, the visor can be lowered to recreate Oninome, or I think it's Oninome mode. And the eyes are recreated with clear parts. Yes, they are. And then you got change. So basically you can switch it from one to the other. Hey, look, you can do things with the wrist. You got swords. You got flexible ogre binder, flexible ogre binder 10. I don't understand. Raised to Kanasaibu. It's like a baseball bat, but gun. And then you got his team here. Well, mostly you got that one there, but you got the Giraga stuff like that. And hey, I did that one. That was one of my favorite ones from last year before. All right, and come right here. You got Build Divers Re-Rise. Repeat of the box art number 21 in the line. That's weird. I think the last thing we looked at was also a 21 in the line. BandaiHobby.net. Yay. And you got obligatory rear and front shot there of the Rase-Two-Ten. So let's do the read up there. Gunpla upgraded as a result of countless battles with powerful foes by elite GB and diver Ogre using his GP Rase-Two. Although its base kit is Universal Century Mobile Suit, incorporates solar reactors to further pursue a customization style using GN particles, leading to powerful additional weapons such as improved flexible ogre binders in the shoulders, newly created GN revolver bazookas, the Gunpla's unique special Trans Am system, the Oni Trans Am or the Ogre Trans Am, has also been intensely upgraded, as given the MS unexploitable strength. I'm not sure that's the right word. In all directions, an Ogre continues to quantify strong opponents and to this day to test its skills. Yes. And then you got the Re-Rise poster there. You got the PSPE ABS. All the things. You got don't stick an ogre in a 3-year-old's face because it's red. And then no cost down there, but I can't remember how much it cost anyways. It's got to be in the high 20s, probably bottom end of 30s at the most. But either way, still upside down. Ogre's new suit, still upside down. I have to reorganize things here because my chair is keeping me too far away. So let's go ahead and get this out of here. And by the way, guys, this is probably one of my favorite builds of the year so far. Yep. And it's turntable time. Let's look at this magnificent thing. So guys, as it stands, this is one of my favorite builds. And I know that people complained initially that it's a whole lot of the original HG GP02. I don't even see that as a problem. I had fun building this. And as you can tell, I've added a lot of extra details like I tend to do with 00 kits. But this one just, I don't know, I built it in a day for the most part. And I had fun with it. It wasn't crazy. You know, the darker kind of color binders and stuff like that, those are a little bit annoying only because you're worried about scrapage. But overall, I dig it. I think I did all of the reddish stuff panel lined in brown, and I did all the other bits panel lined in gray. I did add a bit of German gray. For those who always ask, what did I paint it with? I believe most of the solid gray we'll see I did with German gray. And then there is some of my favorites dark gray ever, which is MS Phantom Gray. And I'll point out those things as we go. And aside from 1 or 2 spots, I didn't use any of the stickers. It has a pretty limited sticker sheet, but I didn't use them anyways. I wanted to paint this because it looked that good. And by the way, this is the base Rase-Two version, not the Rase-Two-Ten. Just so you know, because we're going to compare. So let's look at them closer as I tap it with my finger. Look at it. I don't know. It just is presence, man. GP02 was always my favorite back in the day, especially in that old fighting game, because I loved the nukes. It's a big, bulky, clumpy looking thing, and I dig it. So a lot of this thing is GP02. Just get over it. It is what it is. It's still good. It takes a few modern bits from well, just modern Gunpla, but from a part, it is all old Gundam. So let's see. Look at the head. Let me come up just a little bit here. And you can see these cool translucent parts that have that really nice, like, holographic or reactive kind of orange. I did put a tiny bit of gold paint behind the eye and behind those spots there. The actual eyes there, though, are a sticker. And this is the part where you can drop it down. Should just slide, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So now you can go into Oni mode. Onimon, or Oni Transam mode, however you want to call it. Onimini. I don't know. That's like down. He goes into Transam. Oddly enough, we've never gotten a Transam version of this or his GNX. So it looks neat. I like it. It is on a ball joint mounted neck. It doesn't have like the hinge at the base, so it is just the ball joint doing all the work, which is good. Just watch his giant thingies there as you avoid the binders, essentially. The other thing is, you can see right inside there, I guess it's a camera right in there. They do give you a sticker for that. I did paint it. It's just hit with some German gray for the base and then a little bit of gold. And then right in here, these little bitty vents are also some German gray. And same thing inside the chest vents. I love the fact that these are not molded in. These are all individual pieces. So these vents here and these little guys here are all plug-in pieces, so they could have some ridiculous part separation if they wanted to. Let's see here. Torso is pretty solid. With the arms, you can move the shoulders. They're on their own little slider, and then you get a big old butterfly joint there. And then with the binder just completely up and out of the way, you can come out to virtually 90 degrees. You're not going to go all the way around. You're going to hit stuff. It is what it is. That's a little janky, but it works out good. All these spots here, I believe, are my favorite is dark gray ever. Get bicep swivel, single jointed elbow. Speaking of elbows, that one will hurt you. Looks nice. Totally worked that off. He does have the same kind of cuffs that he did before, so if you have any of the effects from before, those should still work. So here's one right here. So in theory, he can still, he can still do the spiky part like that, which is cool. I mean, I don't think he does that, but you can. I mean, they literally gave you the ability to do so. And from what I can tell, yeah, these aren't even the same parts. These are actually new parts. The hands are just ball joint, big old hands here. These are just for holding purposes. I think he comes with just a couple different hands, but these are the ones that you use to hold the guns and stuff, so it really doesn't matter. And if we come down to the torso, it will rotate and move just a little bit. That is a ball joint, not a plug with a hinge. And then you've got ball joint mounted skirts, which are super loose, so don't knock them around. Once again, gray paint there for detail. Same thing here. Front skirts, it actually tells you to split so that you can get them up and out of the way. And then you can use the shimmy in the hips to sort of get a giant big old foot kick. Look at that. By the way, gold paint right there. And that is the Mr. Color, like hyper metallic gold, just brushed on. You get thigh rotation up there, even though it's actually a ball joint, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, the hip shimmy is good. Hold on, let's see if I can. Yeah, that's cool. Big, chunky, double jointed knee. Really only good for 90, but it looks good. Just be honest here. And this whole part here for the knee with the Eye of Alice, basically, that actually will come as a sticker. I painted it, so that's just gold and phantom gray. I need to clean it up. I can see right here. I had to make a couple passes with the gold because it was either going on too thin or it was spilling, and I had to clean it up. Either way. So you get these huge feet down here. This one's like 2 feet because you get like this part here, which is like an ankle skirt, but also a foot. And then that little bit there, that's all GPO2 for the most part. And then this part, I think it might also be GPO2. I could be wrong. Like there's no hinge. They're pretty solid. So you get a rocker that's way up in there. And then I believe a ball joint down here. And then, like I said, this part moves. Look at the color separation. And most of that's coming from an old kit. Look at that. And then, of course, I painted the thrusters under there. So, I digs it. I mean, it's good, and it's pretty solid. He's only fallen over a couple times, and that's just because I didn't have it balanced out right. I think that his knee armor here is hitting. Yeah, okay, there we go. So, yeah, you got to watch the knees, because they might not be sitting where they're supposed to. Alright, so let's talk about the binders. You got one on each side, obviously. And they hook up very interestingly. So you have a rotation joint back here. It also has thrusters. Look at all the gold connected to the GN drive in the core, which is neat. So that rotates there. And then you get a rotation joint up here. Just be careful. It's got a key. You don't want to accidentally spin it too far. And then that part can also rotate. And then there's a hinge there. So look at that giant amount of rotation you can get out of that. That's nuts. By the way, more thruster there, and then that. This really reminds me of, I think that reminds me of the one off of Curios a little bit. Looks like a leg thruster. And then if you come up here, you can actually open those up, and then you've got some big ass beam emitters, or what would have been maybe missile pods or something like that, but he does use them as a giant beam attack. That's awesome. Also painted gold, but you do get stickers. Or do you get stickers for that? I don't know. I feel like you do. But I love the part separation to make that work. And then also little gray details painted on there just to break things up. Same thing on the side here. Little gray details. Also, like I said, that's painted gold and gray just to break it up. Little gold, or I'm sorry, little gray there as well. So just, you know, adding a tiny bit of alternate color can really make it come alive. Also, you've got extra GN drive, at least cones, up here. And this is pretty neat. So you can pull this out. Well, you can pull that off. You're not supposed to for this mode. And then that can rotate and hinge. And you have claws. Look at this. Look at this thing. So this is the Rase-Two binders, as they are. And with those, you can take the big old beam sabers and put those in there. That's freaking cool. Or if you want it to act more like a funnel, I believe it has that ability, technically speaking. It may be more of a wired funnel, but they don't give you a wire. But this is a pretty neat thing. They are meant to come off, so that's pretty cool. You gotta wonder if that will allow for anything in the future to work too. So let's see here. You got this hinge here. You can rotate, and it's kind of moving around a bit on its own as well. So just be careful how you do it. Let's see, put this back in like that, so you get that part. So that's pretty cool. And then he can't beat Ogre without his giant blades of doom. So we saw these essentially last time, but he's got new blades, which are much cooler looking. Same kind of reactive orange as there. They were on the same runner. The handles are essentially the exact same mold. They probably are. I'll do the comparison here shortly. You can do the combined mode as mentioned in the thing. I thought there might have been a connector, like an extra little bit for that. If there is, it's probably in the thing. Otherwise, you can just hold it. And these are the hands that split in half to hold stuff instead of just the back of the hand coming off. So that's one not quite benefit. And just line that up just right. And plug it in, plug it in. So he can hold that super nicely. That looks good. As for storage, you come to the back. Ignore these. Ignore those posts. Because you're supposed to plug them on back here. So that's pretty neat. Of course, that means you have to reach up and over to grab those. But hey, he's Ogre. He can do kind of whatever he wants. I mean, who's going to argue with him? That's not Riku, you know? Yeah, I saw that too. Like the ankles are just like, we don't want to be ankles anymore. All right, so quick break and then we'll come back to transform him into his other mode. Okay, but before I get too far, actually, let's compare him to the... Dang it. I knew that was going to happen. So one problem that this one has always had is that the swords keep acting like little levers to pop the backs of the hands off. Also, this one was a straight build, now that I recall, so I didn't even add the extra details and stuff to it. So, that's crazy. So you can see, significantly larger suit, but all the same colors. I think it's almost the same kind of pinkish color. As you can see, the sword is roughly the same thing, but actually, now that I look at it, it is a new-ish mold, from what I could tell. Yeah, it's mostly the same, but it's definitely new. Also, the plastics feel better. These are denser blades. These are like those super flimsy ones. Also, I gotta put these shoulder spikes back on. And, you know, he was using a lot more age influence back then with the spikes and stuff like that. And then in this one, definitely going more UC, that kind of thing. But you can tell, you know, he's got a lot of this going on. Also, totally different GN drive setup. But I love that they keep the plugs here and in the same manner, because that's how he does the other weapon storage. But let me move him out of here for the time being and bring in little bro into Gira, because we do see this suit make a return for no apparent reason in the final battle, even though we previously saw that combined with this in a new blue color scheme that we definitely need. Damn, back of the hand came off again. I'm at the point I'm about to glue that back on. Okay, so we do have one more weapon for him in this mode, and it's the club bat thing. So it's molded in all purple. I did paint the handle. That is actually German gray. I just masked it off and spray painted it even after panel lining it. So it's not the best job, but it worked. Should paint the end of it black so it looks like the barrel of a gun. Did not do that. I apologize. And he does have a hidden handle here, like so, if you're going to use it in gun mode, which is fun. And he can also just beat people down. Fortunately, there's no weapon storage for this. I said unfortunately, there's no weapon storage for this, but I really do like this. This is actually good. Now we need the Rase-Two-Ten upgrade parts. So we'll do his basic upgrades. So you want to come over here to the claws. They're just hinged in, so just pop the little clawsies off. Both sides. Like so. Set those aside. We'll bring out the new claws. Now these look like something. I don't know what, but they definitely appear to be something. So pretty neat. You know, you got extra clawness going on there. It does rotate here. You know, pretty good. And they just plug in where the old ones were, and they cover up most of what used to be there. So that's kind of cool. And what's real, okay, so I'm going to tell you this. The instructions tell you how to make it the Rase-Two-Ten and then the Rase-Two. So it's really strange to tell you the new version, not the old version. I appreciate them giving us both versions in a single kit instead of having us buy two, which is what they usually will do for you. So that's a thing. Now I'm going to take the swords out of the hands for the time being, or at least one, because one thing he likes to do with this one is hold his swords with the claws, which you can manage with one of these little add-on bits that plugs in right inside there. Just sort of rotate it for clearance. And yeah, just kind of get it about as clear as you can get. And then close your claws around it as good as you can. Temporarily. There we go. So you can totally hold the swords that way, and I like the fact that that little part just sort of takes over. So actually, let's do it to both, because that'll be worth it in my mind. Come on. Okay, so there's this one. And from what I could tell, there's no real direct orientation. Also, that totally looks like something can plug into. Maybe that's what it's supposed to be. Maybe the handle is meant to go through and plug in. Oh, that might have been it. Actually, now that my dumbass sees it, that might be what it's supposed to do, instead of what I got going on over here. Hold on. Yeah, that actually makes way more sense. Let's just go with that. Okay, it looked better the other way, but we'll just go with that. So now we need the new weapons, which are the GN revolver bazookas. That's the first time I said it correctly. And yes, these come completely molded in purple. So all that gray, you're supposed to paint, and it did. So I completely assembled it and went, you know what? I need the gray. So I spent quite some time masking everything off and then gave it a quick paint job. I think it came out good. I like that it comes with blue camera stickers there, though I forgot to once again paint the barrel black. You do get these connector ports here, and he does have handles so that if you want to, he can slide it into his basic hands. But for the most part, these are shoulder-mounted weapons, let's just be honest here. And then where these swords used to plug in, you now come in and plug on your bazookas. Where's the other one? There it is. Oh, the other thing I did is the GN drives here. By the way, these things are directly GN drive powered, much like the Celestial Being's beam weapons. So, you know, just expelled directly from a GN drive, which is nuts. So these parts here are just painted with some Phantom Gray as well. Just thought it looked better. And I did that because part separation, and then decided I wanted to do everything else on the way. So you got to get the binders more or less where they're not quite in your way. And that was weird. So you can get the big old arm cannons up and over the shoulders. The one thing that does suck is that these are attached, but I guess if you're really wanting to do a ton of damage, you can just open up all of it, drop the Oni guard down, and you can just blow up everything that's over there. Just, you know, whatever. Sound effects. It is cool. And really, you have a free hand. You can actually hold this too. It gets a little awkward because the tip of the handle kind of pokes, but, you know, it is what it is. This thing was a lot of fun, guys. I really do dig how it came out. It does require a little bit of work if you want it to be accurate, you know, like painting the guns and, you know, things like that. The gold thrusters and stuff like that, that's all on me. You don't have to do that. That's just something I prefer to do with my 00 style builds. As for being a big chunky thing that came from the UC, I really dig this. Now I kind of want to get the old HG GPO2 kit. That seems like it would be a lot of fun. Also, I like that these bazookas are still kind of reminiscent of that, even though it's a whole new deal. Oh yeah, by the way, you can swing these down, so you don't have to have them up all the time. They look a little funny on the backpack, I'm just going to be honest. He doesn't really have, yeah, it's technically a backpack, but those are mounted as his shoulders, not the backpack. So he's still very intimidating, and there's a reason why the divers always had a problem with him. So, I don't know. I'm on the fence about having another one so I can have a 2 and a 210. I really still don't get the name, but it is what it is. You got to watch that short peg in that arm. I was trying to rotate the shoulder and I dropped that out instead. There we go. So, but guys, let me know what you think down below. Is this worth it? Do you need to get one in your life? Because I think you do. And of course, is Ogre one of your favorite characters from either of the seasons? And I'm so happy that he made the return in Re-Rise, if ever so briefly, to help out the newbies. So yeah, look at this. I love the extra sub arms. It's just so cool. That's a little stupid, if I'm honest. I'm going to double check on that, but I think that's how those should go. So, there we go. But guys, I will catch you on the next review, starting on Monday, where we have a Master Grade Monday unboxing in this 00October. So stick around for that. Stick around for all of 00October, because it's going to be a good one. If you want some merch, it'll be in the links down below. If you want to submit your builds and your collections, the link for the Discord is down below, where we have a channel dedicated just for that. So by all means, if you want to come and play and then have me look at some of your stuff and show it off, potentially on Sunday live streams, if there's enough, I will do that. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Remember, as always, keep on building.